Primary economic concern for the 40th Assembly District, and what is your primary economic concern for California?
To start with the primary economic concern for the 40th, clearly it's the fact that so many people have been displaced from their jobs as a result of what I call this financial services sector meltdown. We characterize it as a real estate meltdown, but it really isn't. It's the financial services sector that went awry, that then caused this pandemonium, this havoc of people losing their homes, getting themselves into deals that they didn't understand and could never really fulfill. And then the way in which this debt was parsed out worldwide, you would call this a financial epidemic of catastrophic proportions. I think the state can come in and do an awful lot to turn this around. We're the 8th largest economy in the world, and I think we can use that as a way to begin to create economic health. So the 40th is absolutely impacted by this. The other thing that the 40th has been impacted by is the writer's strike, not just because of the people that have been displaced as a result of the strike, but the allied industries and businesses, the people that rely on the entertainment industry, which is a powerful and potent industry in this city, to survive. I, for one, refuse to take any money from the studios or any of the studios or executives at the time that preceding, during, and even now. Although my opponent, Bob Blumenfeld, has in fact taken close to $10,000 and crossed the picket line during this period of time.
Crossed the picket line?
Well, the picket line was the Writers Guild. I personally have survived and lived and made a living as a union member of the Directors Guild. I'm here tonight because I have been able to receive residuals and benefits, and I think that the time has come for all of us, if we mean what we say, to stand up and be able to do it, even if it means personal sacrifice. So the first thing I will do is turn the economy around. Thank you.
Thank you, Lorette. Dan McCrory, what is your primary economic concern for the 40th Assembly District, and what is your primary economic concern for California?
Well, part of that has to do with the $14.5 billion that Eric talked about at the top of this event, where people are hurting badly, and we've got to do something about that. What I see is an impact of policies on the working class. It was once believed that if you worked hard, you could buy your own piece of the American dream. What's happening in California starts with what is happening to the working class. The current jobless economic recovery that we've talked about has done little to help working folks in California. Nearly 3 million jobs in the U.S. have disappeared over the past 3 years, and unemployed workers are out of work for longer than they've been in decades. Retailers, banks, airlines, hotels, hospitals, and government agencies are all eliminating jobs in California and offshoring them to other countries where workers earn lower wages under harsher working conditions. A recent LA Times article uncovered the fact that our own state food stamp program hotline is staffed by workers in India and Mexico. A UC Berkeley Haas Business School study estimates over 14 million service sector jobs in the U.S. are at risk of being offshored. As those good-paying jobs disappear, tax dollars from those high-wage earners disappear with them. This has a ripple effect on the economy of our communities. Suddenly, there's less money for infrastructure improvement, money for our schools, city and county services, health care. The stores report losses. Stop me if any of this is starting to sound familiar. That means more unemployment benefits, which in turn are shaved as funds dry up and more folks are on the public dole. Governor Schwarzenegger has vetoed numerous jobs to stop the offshoring of California jobs. In 2004, the legislature overwhelmingly passed compromise legislation to reform our broken workers' compensation system. That's another area that needs to be fixed, and we're willing to do what we can to make sure that it is fixed. Many injured workers are getting fewer benefits. Workers' compensation is another effect on the working class. Thank you.
Thank you, Dan. Stuart Waldman, what is your primary economic concern for the 40th Assembly District, and what is your primary economic concern for California?
Well, my primary concern is traffic. We can't get anywhere, and if you can't get somewhere, that means goods aren't getting anywhere, it means that workers aren't getting anywhere. We need to fix our transportation system. We need to teach our kids how to get jobs. You know, we don't do that. We have pretty much abandoned vocational studies in the high schools. We've abandoned vocational studies in community colleges. We need to give people an opportunity to get a job. We need to put them in a position to succeed. Over at Valley College, they teamed with DreamWorks while I was a student there, and they brought in equipment, and they trained the students. They got a certificate, so they were able to go work at the studios to get good, well-paying union jobs. We need to incentivize that. We need more of that. Additionally, we need to keep the entertainment jobs, well, now that the strike will hopefully be over, we need to keep the entertainment jobs in LA. We need to do everything we can to keep them from going out of state. And I've got to tell you, these other states, New Mexico, North Carolina, Canada, they are working hard to take these jobs. They're building crews that will allow companies to just go there and work right away. And those are jobs that are being taken from us. So we need to stop that. Thank you.
Thank you, Stuart. Bob Blumenfeld, what is your primary economic concern for the 40th Assembly District, and what is your primary economic concern for California?
Great, thank you. Before I answer that question, I'd like to just correct a misstatement, which is that I have never crossed a picket line. And in fact, I am the candidate that is most supported by labor. Most of the labor organizations that have endorsed at this point have endorsed my candidacy. And I'm a very strong pro-labor advocate. Now, in terms of the actual question that was asked, the primary economic concern for RAD. The primary concern is the same in RAD as it is for the state, as it is for the country. The real income of workers and regular folks has been stagnating as the income of corporate officers has been growing by leaps and bounds. And our jobs have been going overseas. And make no mistake about it, these jobs haven't been stolen overseas. They've been given away by these folks. And what we need to do is to stimulate our local economies. And one way we can do that is what I came to in my very first question, is we need to invest in our infrastructure so that we don't have the traffic, so that our sewer systems work. Right now, our infrastructure is $100 billion to $500 billion in arrears. And if we were to lower the threshold in terms of the bond measure, we would get tremendous investment in that. And that would make a tremendous difference. It would bring real jobs to this area, jobs that can't be exported, jobs building, fixing our sewer systems, creating our infrastructure, and growing our economy. And that, to me, is holistically linked to all of the other problems that we have in the area. And that's why I think it's the most important issue. Thank you.